Mr. Khoza, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for the invite. Thanks for the opportunity to tell the story.
Yeah,
it's a special day. It's a special day indeed. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the conversation.
More to us than to you, actually, because there's nothing like sitting with a visionary of whom the story is not yet told, at least on this platform.
Yeah.
And you are there for giving us call it an insight story. You know, you're giving us access.
True.
So we really are honored. And congratulations, by the way.
Thanks so much. And I'm looking forward to everything. Looking forward to telling the story.
Apparently, the Nkarhi, the timepiece, the story starts with your father.
Yes.
Tell me.
The journey of Nkarhi. Nkarhi was founded in 2019.
Oh.
It was in April the 17th. Remember the day?
A year before lockdown.
Yes. So I remember the day vividly. And in essence, it was a culmination of a dream which started 5 years before.
Okay.
It was nurtured around 2013, and it actually was presented to the public in 2019 in April. My story, or the story of Nkarhi as a whole, cannot be decoupled from my dad. My father received his qualification in watchmaking and repairs, a diploma in 1983, before I was even born.
Sure.
So I always say that the story of Nkarhi started before I was even born.
Yeah.
And I find life very fascinating to say, you know, the education, the passion, and the dedication of my father's time in life is actually manifesting in my own life.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think with my father, like any other proud father, he wanted to teach me his trade that he's very proud of.
Yeah.
And when I was 6 years old, that's when I received my first lesson in watchmaking.
Okay.
And
At
6, yes.
Sure. Okay.
And I had a watch on my wrist ever since then. And I think one of the things I always say is I wasn't fond of watches.
Yes.
Growing up, because I understood 100% what 6 p.m. meant.
Oh, yeah.
So I wouldn't be late by 2 minutes for my set curfew. So that gave me, you know, that love-hate relationship with watches. I was proud that I was the only kid with a watch, but I also hated the fact that they would always ask me to check my wrist.
Yeah.
To check what time it was as I walked in.
Oh,
yes.
my.
And yeah, I think my dad has been there throughout the journey. When I was 8 years old, the unfortunate happened. Calamity struck my family. We lost my mom. May her soul continue to rest in peace.
Oh, man.
And yeah, I think we missed my mom quite a lot. I mean, at the time, our family was quite balanced. It was fun growing up.
What do you mean balanced? How many kids?
Balanced, it was 3 kids. I'm in the middle.
Oh. I was about to say.
Stop it, Brati. Yeah, and I think being a middle child actually has its characteristics, and I'm no different. My dad quickly picked up that I like being independent. I like making my own money.
Yeah.
And when I was 12, that was 4 years after we lost our mom, during the school holidays, my dad organized me a job.
At 12?
Yes.
Mr. Khoza. Okay.
So what was crazy is that the job was at a jewelry store. And at that jewelry store, they had a watch section.
Yeah.
And my job there, firstly, was in a jewelry store, you have to keep the watch workshop as squeaky clean as you can. So one of my jobs was obviously to clean and keep the place clean. But I also assisted with watches.
Yeah.
So I assisted with repairing, mostly, but not difficult things like changing batteries.
Yeah.
And
you
so
knew how to open it, change a battery, and so on.
Yes, which I had learned from my father.
Yeah.
So it made him kind of proud.
Yes.
And obviously, at the time, All Star was the shoe. All Star in Dakota.
That's right.
And I wanted those shoes, and my dad was like, you gotta work for it. So you have to meet yourself halfway. And
what a man! I respect fathers like that, man, because it's easy to just hand over and give it to your son, because I'm sure he could.
Absolutely.
But is the foresight,
yes,
of saying, I can see he has it in him.
Yes.
Let me rather train him.
Yes. So that was an amazing time to say it changed my whole perspective. All of a sudden, I was exposed to a different race, because the people running the shop were not black people.
Yeah.
So, but also the idea that someone could make a living selling stuff.
Because which opens your eyes, right?
Yes. At home, business people were struggling, tuck shop owners, or someone who makes butler gates, or a builder. It's like very informal businesses. So you never really got to see the real juice in running a business. But all of a sudden, I'm put in a situation where these people are filthy rich from running a jewelry store. And I should say, when I went back for my high school years, that had changed me completely. Yeah. The fortunate part of it is that going to high school, I became a top student at my school. Yeah. So
you're driven. There's something.
Yeah. All of a sudden.
Yeah. There's something behind why you want to succeed.
Yes.
Yeah.
But me being very successful with my studies meant that, my journey with watches took a bit of a backseat. So I put all my focus on my studies because I was getting reward there.
Yes.
And I matriculated quite well. I received a bursary to go study electrical engineering.
Okay.
At Wits, the university down the road from there.
Yeah.
And I think when I got to university, I remember telling myself to say, I'm done being a genius. They used to call me genius at school. So I'm done being a genius, and now it's time to leave.
Yeah.
And I should say, it was a great time. I met some of the amazing people at varsity. And
that's the thing about varsity, eh?
Yes.
It exposes you, man.
It exposed me.
Especially to life, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I believe there's nothing that will... I don't think there's a better incubator of understanding how life works like being on campus.
Absolutely. For me, my character, I think people who knew me before varsity and they meet me now, I'm completely different.
Chalk and cheese.
Exactly. I manifested. I found myself. I found my voice.
Yes.
I'm comfortable, very comfortable with who I am.
Yeah.
And also understood how to be a leader at some point, because I got involved here and there in leadership things, and I met my business partner in the solar business at varsity, Chivumo Sikwebeli.
Wait, there's a solar business? Okay, we'll come to that. Park that. I must never forget that.
Yes.
So you are doing electrical engineering. Yeah. Are you doing it? Did you do it and finish it?
I did it and finished it.
Well done.
And whilst I was at varsity, my love for watches was rekindled, and it was by accident that it was rekindled. The very business partner I was talking about was collecting a few watches, cheap, not so expensive. I must not give him all the credit if he's listening. But there's a day when I accompanied him to a watch repairer to fix his watches. And one of the watches was returned, and they told him that he must return it to the original manufacturer because the guy couldn't fix the watch. So I told him, nonsense, man. That watch can be fixed. I can fix it for you. So he laughed at me the whole week. So I had to prove myself. So I did fix the watch. And I think fixing his watch actually made him go out and start telling everyone about how good I am with watches.
Oh, wow.
Which also made everyone else around us to start bringing their watches for me to fix at Varsity.
Which means pocket money for you while you're on campus.
Yes. And during the time, I was so into business. It's not funny. I ran a tuck shop at our res. I was selling furniture, ottomans. I was hiring out sound systems with my very good friend, LSG.
Yes. Hello, LSG.
I know he's listening. and I was into deep house. I was into so many things at the time. That's why I say that's when I found myself, because I threw myself out to the world and picked up what I was good at, what I liked the most, and moved with it. And I graduated and started working in a solar company. In about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And working in a solar company, I was told, I was given advice by one of the professors to say, if you want to run businesses, rather work for a small company, because there you'll be doing everything. You'll be a tea guy, you'll be mopping, they will send
the
you... The
value chain, you see it all.
Everything. And I was
That's a
very
good
lucky.
Advice, actually.
Yeah, I think...
because we all aim for the big ones, aren't we?
Absolutely. I mean, with an engineering degree from Wits, I mean, the sky is the limit, you can think. But I did go work for a small company in Sandton. Worked there for 2-3 years. It was fantastic, but really found out that I'm not good at working for people.
You are an independent person.
Yes. So not in a bad way. Came with probably when I left the company, I was already a shareholder, but I left to start my own solar company with my good friend Chivumo.
Yes.
When I started working, obviously I could afford watches.
Yeah.
So I collected watches, and I knew there and there that I wanted to be in the watch space, but I didn't know in what capacity.
Way.
You know. But one thing I knew for sure was that there's scarcity in terms of professionals who know their way around watches. There aren't training centers. I tried to look for
smaller than niche.
Centers. Yeah. So it was. I saw it and it made sense. I kept in touch with my dad, obviously. Picking up fixing as a hobby, making my own watches by bringing different components.
Yes.
But also I was getting advice from him about where the whole industry was going, because I believed that it was dying somewhat. He also believed the same. But
especially with the advent of the smartwatches,
of the smartphones, especially. Smartphones, all of a sudden, a watch is no longer a very functional part of you. It was just a jewelry. But True. It being a jewelry then carried a lot more sentimental value. So for me to find out really where the industry was, I started a hashtag on social media. And it was hashtag fix 2,000 watches.
Okay.
So I was thinking, before I started the hashtag, I thought about it.
Okay.
I was like, I want to go into the watch space. But firstly, I don't have money. It is very, and I didn't want to do cheap watches, to tell the truth. So my idea was I need to raise money. How do I raise money if I'm fixing 2,000 watches and I'm charging on average 100 rands per watch?
That's 200K.
I'll be
right
making 200,000 rands, right?
Yes.
But moreover, I needed to understand the market to sell to. What watches are people wearing, right? What kind? At what level? It is
research at the same time.
Yes. So it was my kill two birds with one stone strategy, and the hashtag was a success. It took a little over a year. I thought it would take less. But it was a big success, and Nkarhi was born. And
so you managed to raise 200K.
I raised a little bit over that.
Wow.
To tell the truth.
Wow.
The idea was simple. Come up with a very authentic African premium product, which has fair pricing on it. But not only fair pricing, which when someone is wearing, they'll feel very proud because of the aesthetics as well.
Oh, yeah.
So Nkarhi was born after the hashtag, and we've never looked back ever since.
Sure. Mr. Khoza. I can end here. The master class is over. Done. That's how you do it. That's how you get into business. You just tuned in. This is the founder, Elmond Khoza of Nkarhi Timepieces. And this is the story of how he got to get on with it. You spoke about your friend, say LSG.
Yes.
Obviously, you chose one of his songs. How did you meet him?
LSG and I respect the guy so much. We started electrical engineering together.
What?
At Wits, yes. LSG was actually enrolled for electrical engineering, a very smart man, I should say.
Are you aware this is the second week, Claudie, that we're talking about, say, LSG? Last week it was Ralph Gam saying the same thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Humble, very smart. But what I picked up about him was immediately he realized that although he was not a bad student, immediately he realized that he doesn't like engineering. He liked music more. He dropped out in his second year.
Sure.
He didn't wait for 5 years and make a nuisance of himself at varsity. He actually left and went to study music. And I should say currently he's probably one of the best producers in the country, if not the world. Obviously.
Not that.
I don't tell him that, obviously.
Yeah, don't.
Don't tell.
So you maintain the friendship still?
We maintained the friendship. When I launched the watch, he was there. He was playing some beautiful music on the day. And he was one of the first customers who bought the watch. Not only for himself, he also bought for a few friends. So, yeah, very noble man. Hello, everyone. I'm Elmond Khoza, the founder and CEO of Nkarhi Timepieces. You are listening to my Top 10 at 10. Kaya 959 on the street, on the air.
Indeed it is. We're going to the phone lines right now, and let's start here. Mr. Bread for Souls, good morning.
Hey, morning, brati. So yeah.
Kish up, wena.
Ne, Khoza, Khoza.
Kisoro Khoza me bro.
Khozality. Khozality. Yeah. He was trying to do a TV, but failed this one. It didn't really last that long. But brati, without taking too much time, because I know the story Nkarhi is quite long and beautiful and it's worthy to listen to. You know, I wanted to call in and say, this guy, when you talk about resilience, when you talk about determination, you know, somebody who starts something but can see like the long-term vision, can have that vision, therefore this thing can become something great, you know. And Elmond is one of those people who also taught me to look at myself. Oh
yeah.
Like, to start working at a company, but also to see yourself owning something like that. It's something you know, great. And I really can't wait to see the day Nkarhi becomes the timepiece for the nation, you know, just like a purple jeans or a drip or a bar two type of thing. And I just want to say all the best to you, my brother, and I respect you for what you're doing.
Ay, que alaboja, Mr. DJ.
Say LSG. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, brother.
There you go. And now, Abshen Tatekos.
Hey.
Minjan.
Minjan.
This is Tibos on Kaya. I've got your son here, Elmond.
Yeah.
Ati, hey, Bumshaya. Mr. Khoza, tell me why of anything else that you could have followed as a career, why did you choose watchmaking?
Follow the career of watchmakers?
Yes.
Oh yeah. While I was completing my studies, I was interested in fixing watches.
Okay. Where does the love for watches come from?
I beg your pardon?
Where does the love for watches come from?
No, I was interested from while I was young.
Yeah.
I was interested. One day I opened the watch. I tried to fix it.
Yeah.
But I couldn't until I get to the technical high.
Yes.
Where I studied to fix the watches.
Okay. But now, King is saying, I'll level Elmond something.
Ya sa le ka bona gore he ne ke tse ke lukisa mfano nantsa nna motho kwa ka botsisa se keng
Oh.
yeah until aba very interested ka di watch
Mara lo wena ya no Brasoli wa mo romela spanning ka 12 at 12 years. Ke rona mo o mo romela spanning at 12 years old.
ke re ne le ka ntsheng le dikolo le di tswaletse.
Yeah.
Yeah, so nanya ke le part-time job. So akra part-time job ya pologela di battery so.
And now Karikimo onale hai Nkarhi Timepiece. How does that make you feel?
Ona no awa ke feel pride ka yena yo we bona Nkarhi here.
Yeah.
Ya itso e tla ka Khoza ka. Ka Khoza yi.
Onale yona.
Ke na le tse pedi ya.
Tsela tsa khalo sa di apara le tsona gore di latlhile me bra.
Ta khale ke di latlhile. Tene mo style.
Oh, sorry dinako o mo.
Yeah.
Brasoli, for next week we say Happy Father's Day. Thank you for being an exemplary father. Who?
Yeah. Thank you, Nkarhi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Grootman. He ngwana butsisa azangare ai wantswenya wena santsa motlala go ntle. Wanswara. Yeah, no. What a dad, man. I hope you bought him something for next week.
Absolutely. My dad holds a very special place in my heart.
Yeah.
People talk about moms, which I had an amazing mom. I think for the first 8 years of my life.
Yeah, and you still feel the love, isn't it?
Yes,
yeah.
And I think my dad multiplied his efforts as a parent after my mom's passing. So
forever grateful, isn't it?
Forever.
Now take me through Nkarhi, because you see there are so many watches, like you said, for every segment in the economy.
Yes.
How did you decide where you're gonna pitch it? What did you decide? Are you going to go automatic? Are you going to go battery operated? How did you go about it?
So based on the research that I ran using hashtag Fix 2000 watches.
Yeah.
There were two things which came out. Firstly, the type of watches that people really liked.
Sure.
So it was entry-level luxury. And my target, when I was fixing watches, most watches were from men.
Yeah.
So it meant that more men were using watches, and the type of watches that they were using, or the people that I was interacting with, had entry-level luxury watches.
Okay.
So that informed me to want to actually come up with a premium watch,
sure,
so to say. Because I knew exactly if I fix 10 of your watches, you love watches. So when I have my watch brand, which is African, you're probably one of the first customers I'm going to sell to. So it became very easy for me that way.
So you created a market right there.
Absolutely. But moreover, the absence there of African brands in the space.
Zero.
It was loud. It was very loud in my ears.
Yeah.
And when I was deciding on then what am I gonna do with the information, I decided we need something very authentically African. Like when you say Nkarhi, you can't. It's not Korean. It's not German. It's not American.
Yeah.
It's African.
Yeah.
So we decided on the word. Obviously, we tried to involve a few brands, especially when you go to vets. When you're from vets, you've made relationships with people in different faculties.
Yes.
So we pitched to some of them and said, here we are. we want to start a brand called Nkarhi Timepieces, and they were laughing at first, like, do you know the notion of African time? I mean, you're coming up with a watch, you're using an African name. Are you out of your mind?
I can see that. I can see that. Yeah.
If you understand branding, you wouldn't play around there. Go look for an English or German or Swiss
nonsense.
name. But we took them to task, and when we launched the watch, we actually used the slogan, "It's African time." And for us...
Come on. I love that.
Yeah, we...
that's brilliant. That is brilliant.
Yeah, so we're trying to say we're actually going to emphasize that it is actually Africa's time to shine. And we're not shy about that. We're not shy about coming up with an African name, and Chitsonga name to be specific, because we know Tsongas and vendors, mostly people from Limpopo. Usually, I grew up around Gauteng, so you look down on. Probably things are changing now.
Totally.
But then, you'll be in a taxi and a kid is misbehaving and you'll hear... Trello Ektangaro Lechangane. So
and those were the fruits of the division that were sowed between us, and amongst us. And I'm glad that we're changing that narrative in so many ways.
Absolutely.
And we're living in a generation that is proud just to be all inclusive, which is great, which is fantastic.
Absolutely.
I love that. Now, you are the maker. Are you also the distributor?
Yeah, so we actually using a very interesting model.
Okay.
So our model is we didn't want to come up with a very expensive watch, but we wanted to pack it with value, to have as much value as possible. So us having distributors meant that you needed to add 30 to 40% markup onto the product, which meant that it wouldn't be accessible to a majority of our people. So our approach was, okay, we're living in a digital age, so we're going to be very heavy digitally.
Okay.
So we launched the brand online, doing our own distribution, sending watches all over South Africa, and after 2 years all over the world. I mean, the African diaspora is huge, and once they pick up on something, they start supporting, without failure. So we distribute directly ourselves, and I think if there's one thing I know, I came with, the journey and narrated the journey. But one of the important things I think I never said was how we actually named the watches, because I think that's where we infuse the Africanness into this.
So, under the Nkarhi brand, obviously there are sub-brands.
Yes.
Okay.
Or models, so to say, of watches.
Yes. Yeah.
So we actually decided that I started traveling to different African countries at some point, installing solar systems.
Okay.
And I couldn't ignore most of the time the feeling that you get when you get to a city or a town which you are there for the first time. It's either you will liken it to something that you've seen before, or you'll feel that, wow, this town is alive. There's something about the town. But I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So I always took note of that, and I started writing notes about how I feel about certain places, especially in Africa. You're always worried about malaria and all the other things, but also there's the beauty that comes with African cities, the people, the architecture, and so on and so forth. So I decided at the time that when I make watches, I want to extract those characteristics of towns and cities.
Okay.
And our watches are actually named after colloquial names of African towns and cities. We have City of Gold, we have eMalahleni, we have Mother City, we have eThekwini, and so on and so forth. For now, we're using South African cities and towns.
Sure.
And in the future, we hope that as we grow, we can put the spotlight on other African towns and cities outside of South Africa. And I think for us, that's putting the life, the Africanness or the flair of Africa into a product, into a very ancient, kind of like standstill, boring industry. It became that in recent times. But we feel like in time, with like-minded people, we can actually really infuse.
Sometimes something, when it dies, it needs a revolutionary to come back and revive it.
Absolutely.
I'm sitting across one. I like the fact that you didn't divorce yourself, because I like people who can multitask or so-called multi-potentialites. So the electrical side is still there, still works.
Yes.
And so is the timepiece. Quickly tell me about the solar business. I mean, what happens there?
Yeah. So the solar business, the reason why I'm actually still doing solar is because we try to find meaning in it. I tried personally to find meaning. And my meaning was that the lack thereof electricity is the number one barrier to any socio-economic development. And frankly, Africa is a very dark region or continent. In sub-Saharan Africa, for instance, in every 10 people, 7 do not have access to electricity.
Sure.
And the 3 who have access to electricity actually they have access to very unreliable electricity, like we have come to learn in South Africa with load shedding. So that was my meaning. My meaning was that we're going to be in the engineering, procurement, and construction of solar photovoltaic solutions, which we will dedicate to the region in terms of ensuring that there is actually socio-economic development in the region. So we do installations for rural areas. We do for commercial and industrial clients. But I think one of my proudest projects in the space has been one that we did in a rural area called Upper Blinkwater in Eastern Cape.
Okay.
Whereby they've never had electricity ever, since it's a small village with over 80 houses, all living below the poverty line, very poverty stricken. They depend on social grants. We came with obviously a partnership with GIZ, the Raymond Club municipality, and also the provincial government of the Eastern Cape to actually construct a microgrid, a standalone microgrid, self-sufficient, very smart system, which what it has done to the socio-economic side has been amazing. It's supplying schools, not only houses, but we've seen also a growth in terms of small businesses in the area. When we left, there was a carpenter who was creating furniture and selling it in town. We had welders. The local shop started selling frozen meat and so on and so forth. So the possibilities with access to electricity are immeasurable, according to me. For you to get good sanitation or water supply, you need electricity. For you to get very good education, you need electricity. For you to get very good health, you need electricity. And I can go on and on and on and on. And that's my meaning.
Wow.
And I continue to thrive to ensure that Africans can be uplifted using the skills that we have. We have the sun, we have a few engineers
in abundance,
and I believe that solar is the answer.
Elmond, hey, this man must be nationalized. Simple as that. Where do we buy Nkarhi? Father's Day is coming. Come on. Finally buy him a watch he definitely would like to have.
Yeah.
Nkarhi.
If anything, for people buying for Father's Day, they must know that watches are actually a true juncture where art and luxury meet. So you're not wasting. You're not wasting.
That's right.
Nkarhi can be found online at nkarhi.africa. That's our website or online shop. We also have a physical office or showroom based here in Hyde Park at Albury Office Park, Block 4. But also we are available on email, info@nkarhi.com. Our telephone number is 011 568 3587.
All right.
Yep.
Are you on any social?
We are on social media, on Twitter and Instagram. We are Nkarhi _ timepiece. On Facebook, we are at Nkarhi Timepieces.
Elmond Khoza, may God protect you, bless you. Thank you for doing this.
Thanks so much. Thanks for the invitation. Really thoroughly enjoyed.
It's Africa's time.